Good morning, my friends. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, welcome to your life. Yeah, good to see you guys. What's up? People from all over. Welcome. Good to see you. Um, in November of 2021, I made a commitment. And the commitment was that I was going to launch a weekly podcast called It's All Life. It's All Life. Now, those of you that have either trained with me or been to my events or been to my coaching, you know that I teach what I call the 7 domains. And there's 7 domains in your whole life, like everything. And it's your whole life. And what happens for most of us is we get focused on one piece of our life or one thing that's in our life that's going on, that's working, that's not working, whatever. And we get like tunnel vision, and we get just dialed in on that, and then our whole life though is not working. And so people talk about work-life balance. They talk about, I just need balance in my life. I just need to get, I just like I'm spending too much time working, or I'm doing this, or, I just need to get my, all that. And so I've always had this problem with this idea of work-life balance, because I'm like, so you're telling me that you have your work here and then you have your life over here, and like you want to separate them. You want to put one in the balance with this side of the scale and the other. You want to measure them and weigh them. And I'm like, it's not, does it work that way? It doesn't work that way. And the reason, and for me, this epiphany, I think, came the most vividly clear to me when my work for the first time in my life was just like where I was having what most people would consider massive success. Now, this goes all the way back nearly a quarter of a century ago to the year 2000. Y2K, it was my third year in real estate, and I sold over 100 houses in a year and made a whole lot of money. Now, for me, it was like $360,000 in gross commissions in 2000, and my average sales price was like 120 something thousand dollars. So it was like I was doing a whole lot to make. Back then, for me, $360,000 was like, that was 5 or 6 times more than I had ever made in a year. I guess the year before I'd made probably 100 and something, 140,000 or something. But everything was going good. I was voted Realtor of the Year for the #1 Century 21 office in the world, Century 21 Mike Bowman in Grapevine, Texas. And everything was just going like, yes, look at me, I'm going great. I was getting awards every month and all of that. And at the same time, my personal life, my marriage especially, was not working. And instead of dealing with it, I started having an affair, and I burned everything to the ground. I burned my whole life to the ground. Most of you have heard this story. You're aware of this. And it was through that process that I realized, wait a second. And this is when I talked to my coach at the time, and I had a one-on-one real estate coach that was coaching me. And I remember when I told him I was having an affair, I'm probably going to get a divorce, and here's what I'm doing. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to tell him. But I'm like, but my productivity was gone through the floor. I wasn't prospecting. I wasn't doing my lead follow-up. I was in this place of like, it's almost like being in a bad dream and a nightmare. And I'm like, I can't be focused. I'm not powerful. I'm like, what is not working? This isn't working. And I'm burning it all to the ground. And I'm trying to justify it. And I'm trying to justify that this new woman that I'm sleeping with, that, well, I'm married and I have 3 daughters, and this lady's married, and we're right for each other. And it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. But it was this thing. And I remember talking to my coach, and he said, well, I can't help you with that, but I can help you stay focused on being productive in real estate, because you got to stay productive in real estate. Because if you don't stay productive in real estate and you're not making money, then everything that you're dealing with in your personal life gets worse. And I just remember thinking, how in the world can you just separate it and act like you can't help me with this, but you can help me focus on real estate? I'm like, my real estate's not my problem. Like, my work is going great. I don't want to work. And the reason I don't want to work is not because I'm not liking work. It's not because I'm not liking real estate. It's not because I'm not liking my business. It's because everything in my world is falling apart. Yes, self-inflicted wounds, granted, but it's not working. I don't know what to do. And nobody was there. Nobody was there that I felt like I could just tell the fucking truth. I was teaching a Bible class on Wednesday nights at a large church where I would have over 50 couples in the class teaching them how to have a great marriage from a biblical perspective. And then I would get done with class and I would go meet the girl. And we would have sex. And it wasn't working. And it was only a matter of time before what's not working in one area of your life starts destroying all the things in all the other areas of your life. And so it was through this journey of realizing that you can be really doing great in your business, you can really be doing great in your fitness, or you can be really doing great in one area of your life, but the rest of your life sucks. And I'm like, that's not winning. That would be like a tennis player that is able to, that has the best serve on the planet. I mean, they can serve that ball at 130 miles an hour if that's possible. I don't know if that's possible or not. Is that possible? Anybody, tennis players, 130, maybe like a golfer. I play golf, so I can get golf here. It'd be like a golfer who's got a 330-yard drive, and they can drive it freaking straight down the fairway every time. I mean, they're a beast with that, but their putting game sucks. Their irons suck. Their approach game, their sand wedge, they can't hit the ball worth crap with any other club, just their driver. And then they want to win. No, you're not going to win. You're going to look great off the tee shot, and you're going to be ahead of everybody on the tee shot, and then you're going to get beat. Because you haven't learned that it's not one shot. It's not just one club. It's the whole bag. It's the whole course. You've got to play the whole course, and until the ball is in the hole, you haven't won the hole. And until you can make it through the whole course with fewer strokes than anybody else, you're not going to win the game of golf. And you're trying to focus on one club, your driver. Why do I want to practice just with my driver? Because that's my best club. I like it. It's the most fun, so I focus all my attention there. And some of you have done this in your entire life. Some of you have bodies that make you look like a model or make you look like a Greek god. I mean, your body is just like ripped and all this, and the rest of your life sucks. Some of you hide out in church. You hide out in your spirituality. Like at church, you're the holiest person, and you sing, and you can raise your hands, and you can worship, and you look back, and you're leading a small group, or you're serving the church in some committee or some capacity, or you're doing this, and you're doing awesome, and your faith is like, I'm so tight with God. Yes, but you're not tight with your spouse, and you're not tight with your kids because your relationship is full of shit. And you won't deal with the problems, and you're unhappy in your marriage. And if you're a guy, and you know what I'm talking about, if you're a guy, every one of you know what I'm talking about here. Everything's going good in your heart. I'm like, you're noble, and you try to make everybody happy, and try to make your wife happy, but sex isn't going good, so you turn into porn 3 or 4 times a week. Some of you 3 or 4 times a day, and you think it's working. You lie to yourself that it's working, and it's not working. And so out of this, I had this vision 19 months ago, November of 2021. I wanted to start a podcast called It's All Life. Has nothing to do with business, except that business is a part of your life. Has nothing to do with spirituality or God, except that your spirituality, your faith is a part of your life. Your fitness is a part. It's not a fitness thing, but your fitness is a part of your life. How you treat your body, how you take care of your body is a part of your life. Your marriage is a part of your life. Not about marriage. Who am I to talk about marriage? I'm going through my 3rd freaking divorce right now. Now I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it today, but this is stuff I'm like, I need to just go. So 20 months ago, November of 2021, I said, I'm going to start this podcast. And I had on my calendar that I was going to start it in January of 2021 or 2022. I started January 20, and then I got going. So I was changing everything in my company. I was changing my coaching programs and doing a bunch of stuff. This was a year and a half ago now. And I'm like, okay, I went from January, so I'm going to start it in March. And then started getting close to March. I'm like, I'm too busy right now. I got too much going on. So the breakthrough experience, all this new stuff I'm doing. So I'm gonna wait till June. And then I changed it from June, and I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be fourth quarter. Fourth quarter came, went, didn't start it, not starting it. I'm like, okay. So when I was doing my planning in October of 2022, about 6, 7, 8 months ago, whatever it was. So I'm creating my plan, my summit, what I call my summit expedition, my 2023 summit expedition. What am I gonna do in 2023? And this is it right here. And on my, I have just something I want to do for me personally. This is not business. This is not about selling you shit. This is nothing about any of that. This is about me bringing to the world the message that I think God wants me to bring to the world. And it's about winning in life. It's about quit trying to segment your life and go like, yeah, things are going awesome in my business, or looking in one area and ignoring the question is not where are you winning in your life. The question is where are you losing because you're ignoring it, because you're stuffing, you're suppressing what's not working and thinking, it's fine, I'm good. No, I'm good. It's really okay. That's good. It's not bad. I mean, it's better than it's been, or it's not as bad as some people, or I really got to be grateful because things are pretty good. So when are you going to stop settling for pretty good and start saying, wait a second, this is my life. This is the only life I get. And I'm settling for pretty good? What does pretty good mean? Pretty good means that I don't have enough pain, I don't have enough shit in my life that I'm uncomfortable enough that I'm willing to change. Just enough. It's not great, but it's okay. I'm not in pain, so I'm just gonna be like, okay, whatever. Screw it, I'm just gonna keep going the direction I'm going. And we're unwilling to let go of okay. We're unwilling to let go of pretty good in order to have great. Why? Because we know it's going to mean pain. We know it's going to mean discomfort. We know it's going to mean some collision that you're going to have with your own comfort zone, some collision you're going to have with your own lies, some collision you're going to have with your relationships, some collisions you're going to have with your own cravings and your addictions and your habits. Yeah, you're going to have a collision with that bag of chips that you are addicted to eating all the time, or the other kind of crap food or stuff that you put into your body. You want to have that collision. That's uncomfortable. I like my chocolate. I like my ice cream. I like my bullshit. And it keeps you stuck. It keeps you buried. So I got 5 questions for you today. These are questions I've been asking myself for a long time. Because the first question is this. What's one specific thing that you've been waiting too long to do? You know you need to do something. This one area of your life. There's one thing in your life you need to confront. There's one thing in your life you need to declare. There's one thing in your life you need to go public on. There's one thing in your life you need to commit to. There's one thing in your life that you're like, I'm going to start doing this, or I'm going to stop doing this, or I'm going to change this, or I'm going to confront this, I'm going to create this, I'm going to take this leap of faith. One thing. What is one thing in your life that you have been waiting for the perfect moment? And you're still waiting. And this happened to me yesterday at lunch. Yesterday at lunch or after lunch, I'm sitting there, I'm meditating. I'm just sitting in meditation. I'm listening to my meditation music. I'm just meditating. And it was just like God just said, go. Start the podcast. I'm like, okay. All right, God, you got me. I'll do it. I don't have curriculum. I don't have outlines. I don't have it planned out. I don't have any of that. And he's just like, just go. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting till you have plenty of time. Stop waiting until everything is right. Stop waiting until you get all your life together the way you want it to be. Life is not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. That's probably not going to happen in this lifetime. So just go. I've been waiting for 20 months. 20 months I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to go just to start doing this podcast. It's because like, it's just a big commitment. Every week I got to do this podcast. 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. I don't even know. I don't even know how long it's going to be. I don't know when I'm going to do it. Like, am I going to do it live like this every day, every week? Am I going to do it like as a recording? Am I going to do it interview style? What am I going to do? I was like, it's just such a big commitment. These are big decisions. I don't want to do it. I've been waiting. What have you been waiting on? This is what I've been waiting. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and put this off. And I'm like, God just said, go. And I'm like, okay, God, I'll go. And then I'm in Southern California right now in Dana Point with my coach, Garrett White. And I'm at an event with some of his other one-on-one clients. And you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars sitting in this room right here. There's 5 of us sitting in a room, and just the wealth and the power and the income that's generated in that room is freaking insane. And so we're having these conversations, and this was not even really about the conversation we're having. I just told them after lunch, I'm like, okay, guys, because we're talking about, I don't know what we're talking about, but I just said, okay, guys, I got it. I'm making my commitment. There's a shift that I need to make in my life. I'm starting my podcast, and I'm gonna just start it. I'm starting it. And so Keith Yackey, who's a guy that he runs a thing called The Married Game, super great guy, super great friend. And he goes like, when? Like in the next week, like when? I'm like, okay, before this event is, we're done on Sunday, and I'm like, before the event's over, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna start the podcast. And he's like, okay. Said, so when are you gonna do it? I'm like, I'm gonna do it tomorrow. This is what's just today. And he goes like, okay, so you are not walking into this room on Saturday till that is done. I'm like, yeah, of course. All right, cool. So I'm like, when am I gonna do it? I'm just gonna maybe I'm gonna jet out of the thing. I'm like, no, I'll do Covenant 7, which I've done for years, and I quit doing it because it was complicated and all of that. And I'm just like, I'm gonna do it. And so I got on the horn with my team and I said, hey, let's just send out an email to everybody. So thank you guys for joining me and showing up today. Let's just send out an email to a bunch of people, send out a bunch of text messages to all the people that have your cell phone numbers. I'm like, hey, I'm going to do a personal announcement. Here's the personal announcement. I'm starting a weekly podcast called It's All Life. And what this simply is going to be about is me and my journey and what I am learning and discovering about life and about winning in life and about understanding all of your life and making that all work. I have a thing called Carpe Victoriam. It has really nothing to do with it. I just saw it on my hat. I saw it on my shirt, and it means seize the victory. You've heard of Carpe Diem, seize the day. Guys, victory doesn't come to you. Victory doesn't happen by accident. Victory is winning championships is a planned event. Winning wars is a planned event. You don't win by accident. You go get the victory. And to do that, you got to be willing to go. Where have you been waiting for everything to be perfect? And guys, I've spent my life waiting. When I moved to Southern California in 2009, my number one goal was I wanted to get a yacht. I wanted to get a big sailboat, 40, 50 feet. I got it after 10 freaking years, 10 years. And I'm like, why did I wait 10 years? Well, when I first got here, I couldn't afford it. That was true for about the first 3 or 4, maybe 5 years. But then I could afford it. And then I just kept putting it off. And I was trying to make my wife happy, and I was trying to make everybody else happy. And it's like, what about making me happy? What about what I want? Which is going to be another question I'm going to get to in a minute. And then I waited. I wanted to be a coach for years, and I put it off. And then I tried starting it in 2009. I chickened out, and then I quit. I went back into a job, and then in 2011, I made a decision. I'm going all in. I'm not going to wait anymore. I wasn't ready. I didn't have the money. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't prepared to start a coaching company. But it was like, how much longer am I going to put off my dreams? How much longer am I going to wait? I've been dreaming for years to move to the mountains. I want to live in the mountains. Like, when am I going to go? Like this year, I said, I'm going. I pulled up everything. I'm like, I'm going. So I now live outside of Santa Fe, New Mexico, up in the mountains. I love it. I'm having the time of my life. And I was worried about, what are people going to think? I'm a real estate coach and I'm living where there's no real estate except land. It's like, it doesn't matter. This is my path. This is what I want. How long are you going to wait? And I've spent my life waiting to confront things that were not working in my life. Waiting to confront things that weren't working in my marriage or my relationships. And guys, it destroys your life. It destroys your marriage. It destroys your strength. It destroys you because you're waiting. So what is one specific thing in your life, one specific step, one specific action you have been waiting and putting off doing because it's uncomfortable or because you're not ready or it's not time? What's one thing? And what are you going to do about it? Question number 2. Where have you been pumping the brakes when God's been telling you to hit the accelerator? Where have you been pumping the brakes in your life where God has been telling you to hit the accelerator? But I'm scared to go too fast. I'm scared about this. I'm scared about this. Where have you been pumping the brakes? So it's like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to stop waiting, but I'm still pumping the brakes, pumping the brakes, pumping the brakes. And God's going like, would you just hit the accelerator, put the pedal to the metal, and go? Question number 3. When did I stop dreaming and start trying to make everyone else happy? I think that's a question you should write down. In fact, if you type it in the chat, I want this one memorialized. When did you stop dreaming about what you wanted and started trying to make everyone else happy? I know when it happened for me, I was 4 years old. Yeah. When I was 4 years old, I could do anything I wanted. Everything I want, I could dream, I could imagine, I want to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then something happened. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it was when somebody else put an expectation on me that I should be a preacher. And I'm like, okay. And I just, without argument, I accepted that. It wasn't that it was a bad thing to do. But as I look back, it was not my calling. It was something I liked to do, and I never loved it. It was never what I was called to do. But what I had spent my entire life, the first 30 years of my life, was shaped by one decision: to make other people happy. And then when I got out of that and I got into real estate, I was still trying to make everybody happy. And I was, instead of ever living to be who I was called to be, instead of living and being true to who I was. Because in that fullness, if I had just learned how to look at my own dreams and look at and making me happy. Some of you, my friends, some of you are like, well, this is gonna really like confront. This is gonna confront the embedded beliefs that a lot of you have, that your life, the most noble thing you can do in your life is be miserable to make other people happy. Be the sacrificial lamb. Like, put others ahead of yourself. And how about this? Love your neighbor as yourself. Because if I don't love me, how can I love my neighbor? How can I love you if I don't love me? But this is what I did. I was like, okay, what's going to make everybody else happy? What's going to make everybody else like me? The most selfish thing that you will ever do is try to do everything to make everybody else like you. And you think I'm being unselfish. You think I'm being the nice guy. I'm just trying to make my wife happy. I'm just trying to make my husband happy. I'm just trying to make my kids happy. I'm putting my kids first because I got to take care of them. And here's the problem. You burn your life to the ground. You're unfulfilled. You're depressed. You go into addiction. You go into dysfunction. And then your kids grew up watching that while you're trying to put all them first. And they're like, what is going on here? And then they see your life later and they see you miserable and they're like, oh, so this is life. Life is miserably trying to make everybody else happy. And that, guess what? They do the exact same thing. They bow the knee to every other expectation. Now you got an entire culture, an entire civilization that's programmed that you got to, every word that you say, everything, every post, everything that you do in your life, you got to make sure that you keep everybody happy. You don't upset anybody, because if you do, you're an asshole and your life is going to go to shit. And so all the bullshit that is going on in our world right now, all the bullshit that's going on in our culture right now, is like, you got to go along with all that and try to make sure you don't upset anybody or offend anybody, or they will shut your account down, or they will do this, or they will do that. You're going to get criticized, you're going to get judged, you may lose your job. Okay, next question. Question number 4. Where have you not been telling yourself the truth? Where have you not been telling yourself the truth? You're like, you know that's bullshit. You know if you keep doing this, it's gonna have a toll. There's gonna be a consequence. But I don't deal with it. You know where you're in your life, it's not working. You know where it's not been happy, where you've not been fulfilled, where you've suppressed. It may be shame, it may be guilt, it may be a lack of confidence, it may be fear, it may be unhappiness, discontentment with something that's going on in your world. It may be an addiction that you were sucked into something and you're like, I know, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm in control. It's going to be all right. I'm going to do okay. It's going to be good. It's good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. No, I'm doing pretty good. It's doing good. Yeah, it's all right. People say, how's it going? That's good. Yeah, it's good. No, it's really good. And have you noticed we go like, yeah, it's good. No, everything's good. Yeah, no, yeah, everything's good. What are we saying? Yeah, no, everything's good. What our subconscious, this is the Freudian slip. This is the like, yeah, no, everything's good. No, everything's good. What are you saying no to? How's everything going? Oh, it's good. No, everything's going good. Yeah, everything's good. Nah, no, yeah. And you listen and you'll hear people say this. This is this yeah, no thing. What is this yes, no bullshit? Bullshit, that's what it is. It's your subconscious mind screaming, something's not working. Something's not working. And you're just like, no, it's good. No, what do you mean, no, it's good? What are you protesting? What are you objecting to? That I don't think it's good? Are you telling me no? Are you telling yourself no? What are you telling? My friends, you need to wake the fuck up and start telling yourself the truth. So, on this new podcast, that today is my inaugural, I don't know if this is going to be good or not, or if it's going to be watched, but I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to be straightforward. And I'm going to say things that are just the truth, and I'm going to say what I feel like saying. I'm going to say it the way I feel like saying it, because I'm going to be true to myself. It will piss some of you off. There'll be people that'll watch this and go like, well, he just used an F-bomb. I'm not ever going to watch it again. Okay, well, go fuck yourself. Because all you're doing is judging me. You're judging me because I said one thing you didn't like? Good. I spent the first 30-something years of my life doing the same thing. And then I burned it all to the ground. And I woke up and go like, maybe I should stop judging everybody else and just start being true to myself. Some people don't feel like I'm talking to them unless I drop F-bombs. It's the craziest thing, but it's like, okay, this is the way I'm going to talk. So I talk in my own personal life. I used to tell people, no, I only do this. But anyway, it's a different conversation. Let me give you a thought. What if you stopped living in a way where you're trying not to offend other people? What if you stopped living in this world where you're trying not to offend everybody and started living in a way that would allow you to win? Stop living in a world where you're not offending anybody and start living in a world where you're winning. How about that? What if we just did that? What if you stopped trying not to lose, if you stopped trying to avoid mistakes and said, I'm going to win championships. I'm going to win my life. This is what I want in my life. This is what I want my life to look like. I want my body to look like this. I want my marriage to look like this. I want my bank account to look like this. I want my free time to look like this. I want to be able to take these trips. Why do you want to take these trips? Why do you want such a big house? Because I want it. How about this? You don't think you need that big of a house? Then go find what you want. You want to live in a tent? Go live in a tent. I bought a fifth wheel. I bought a 40-foot fifth wheel. I love my fifth wheel. I mean, it's like a mini mansion on wheels. I love it. And people are like, I would never want to live in a place like that or that. But other people think it's too expensive. I spent six figures on a travel trailer. Yes. Why? It's what I wanted. It's what I want to live in the mountains. And this is where I want it. Am I going to live in it forever? No, I'm not going to live in it forever, but I'm going to have it forever. That's what I want. And didn't you live at the beach? Yeah, I lived at the beach. I was tired of the beach. I love the beach. I just don't love the big city. I'm a country boy. Yeah, but how many coaches actually live out in the country? It doesn't matter. I'm going to live in the mountains. I'm going to be the mountain man. That's what I want to do. I spent all my life, I shaved for my whole life. I had a mustache when I graduated high school. I had a mustache, and then I had a business coach say, you should cut your mustache off because you'll have more credibility and people trust you when you don't have facial hair. And I'm like, okay, shaved it off. I shaved it off to make somebody else fucking happy. And then I always wanted to have a beard. I was like, I like it. I like the way I look when I have a beard. I like it. I don't like the long stuff, but I like this, and this is what I like. And I'm like, but my wife didn't like it, and so I spent all my life I spent the last decade trying to make my wife happy, and I'm like, why can I not just be true to myself? I'm not talking about telling other people take a flying leap or that what they think doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is, what if you just be true to yourself first? What if you focused on you winning and bringing into your life what you want so you have fullness? so that you come with a full cup, so that you have a lot to pour out to the world. You'll have more to pour out to your spouse. You'll have more to pour out to your kids. You'll have more to pour out to your clients. You'll have more to pour out to the world when you come with a full cup of abundance and happiness and joy and peace inside of you, rather than suppression and guilt and shame and fear. Let all that shit go. All right, question number 4. Did I ask question number 4? I think I did. Where have you not been telling yourself the truth? I think I did that. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now. Here's where I've struggled for years. I just want to be honest. And this was even my real estate game, was my real estate how to get yes without the BS. I hate BS. I hate BS real estate sales scripts. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. I feel like I'm having to lie to people or bait and switch them to get my foot in the door. I hated that. And I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So I set this standard. This said I'm going to tell the truth in my real estate business. And I did. I do. As a coach, I tell people the truth. I'm very, very honest. But then there are things in my life where I don't want to tell me the truth. See, some of you are liars. Some of you lie to everybody else. No, it's fine. It's good. No, it's good. No, it's good. Or yes, it's good. Yes, it's great. Yeah. No, what? What are you protesting? See, that you're lying. That's the sure dead giveaway. That when you say, yeah, no, it's great. Like, no, yeah, everything's good. No, no. Anytime you're saying yeah, no, yes, no in the same sentence, you're full of shit. But the problem is you're not lying to me, you're lying to yourself. Because here's the problem. You don't want to tell the truth because you're afraid you're going to be judged. I get it. I don't want to be judged. I'm like, okay, what about this? What if I just stopped giving a fuck? Not that I don't care about you, not that I don't care about your being honest or caring about helping you, but I'm not going to determine my self-worth. I'm not going to determine how I feel based on what you think about me or your opinion. So I'm just going to be me. And there's going to be people that's not going to resonate with. I'm okay with that. I pretty well have made a decision and come to terms with the fact that I am not going to be everybody's coach. Pretty confident I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So what if I just did me? What if I just been like, okay, God made me in his image to be me. He didn't make me to be you. He didn't make me to be somebody else. He didn't make me to be Garrett or my coach or somebody else. He didn't make me to be that. He made me to be me. And I suck trying to be somebody else. You're going to suck your whole life trying to be somebody else. How about this? How about just be yourself and tell yourself the truth about, hey, this is who I am. This is what I want. Here's what you get. See, you're worried about getting judged, so you don't do shit. You don't tell the truth. You won't be yourself. But here's what you get when you stop worrying about other people's opinions. You get to be free. You get liberation. Guys, here's what I think. Here's what I think if you are one of the 100 people still watching this, here's what I think. I think one of the greatest things that you want in your life is just, I want freedom. I want the freedom to not be worried, to not be always fearful. I just want to be free. Here's the liberation. Stop worrying about what other people think. Be true to yourself. Be true to yourself. Be true to God. That's it. Be true to God. Be true to yourself. And Shakespeare said, if you're not false within yourself, you can't be false with anyone else. If you're true to yourself, you can be true with everybody else. How do you be true to God when you're lying to yourself? You can't. And how can you be true to God when you're trying to be true to everybody? And you're trying to make everybody else happy. What about making God happy? What about God's calling in your life? Because just like me, I'm stuffing this. I'm being silent. I'm like, I don't want to start this podcast because one, I don't want to talk about my third freaking divorce. I don't want to talk about it. It's painful. It's not what I wanted, but I chose it. And people are going to judge me, and they're going to go like, you talk about marriage and you talk about winning in life and how you should pay attention to all things in your life, and you're in your third divorce. Well, look at you, Mr. Success. But see, I also know that there are countless people out there that are sitting in the same boat I'm in a life that something's not working, but they're afraid to do something about it because they're afraid to let go of mediocrity, because they're afraid they'll be judged, to let go of what they got, to have something better, to have something great. They're unwilling to confront. They're unwilling to put it on the line. They're unwilling to have the conversation with their spouse or with their children or with their boss or with their clients or with their partner or they're unwilling to go there into a place because there is darkness. But I'm going to tell you right now, you do not know the power of liberation when you just say, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. And these are the last remnants of the last resistance of me saying, you know what, I'm going to go public. And I'm going to start doing a weekly podcast called It's All Life. And I'm just going to lay out my life. And I'm going to use my life as a testimony, as a model, as a laboratory of what works, what doesn't work. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm nearly 60 years old. I've done a lot of shit in my life. I've had tons of successes and I've had tons of failures. And I'm like, wow. And the lessons and the wisdom that I have learned from that can save a lot of people a lot of years of a lot of pain. And so why not do that? See, here's the thing. I had to get comfortable, and I'm still uncomfortable with this, but I got to get comfortable going into the dark, facing my darkness, facing my pain, facing my evil, facing the things that are not working, going into the dark. We want to be in the light. We want to make everything look good. And it's like, yeah, man, just light, be light. And it's like, but see, the thing is that there's darkness inside of all of us. The things aren't working. You got to go inside that dark and be willing to face it. And here's the thing, you're like, but the dark, I don't like the dark. It's scary. I'm in a tunnel. I don't like it. I'm in a tunnel right now. I'm going to have a conversation in the next couple of weeks about the tunnel. My life right now is in a tunnel. I hate it. I don't like it. And I've had this conversation with God. I'm going to be talking about conversations with God. I'm going to share with you a lot of my conversations with God on this podcast. I journal, I write my conversations with God every day. And I spend typically 60 to 90 minutes in conversation with God where I'm literally, he and I are having a conversation and writing. I am creating my own scripture. I'm just listening to God, and this is what I feel inspired to write. It's not for you, it's for me. But as I do it, I get this incredible sense of light. But it's when I go into these dark places that I'm scared of. This, like, I don't want to have this conversation with God because I know he's going to make me do something I don't want to do. I know it's going to be uncomfortable. I know it's going to mean a conversation. I don't want to go there. But here's the thing. In those moments when I feel suffocating, when I feel like I'm going to die, I remember the scripture from another king named David. And he said, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Do you know what the valley of the shadow of death means? That means you're in a valley, and for the shadow of death to be in the valley, where does that mean death is? Death is there. It's up there. It's blocking the light, and death, I'm in the shadow, and death is over me. And it's like I feel like my whole world is collapsing and caving in. I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm gonna die. And he says, oh, but God, that's when you show up. See, the reason God hasn't been showing up in some of your lives is because you don't want to go into the dark place and confront the truth about the darkness that's going on in your life. The guilt, the shame that you suppressed and hidden for years, the fears that you are unwilling to face and confront, and it's fucking up your whole life. That's what it did for me. So here's the final question. The final question, then we're going to end this inaugural It's All Life podcast. What's not been working in my life that I haven't been willing to confront because it's uncomfortable? What is one thing that's not working in my life, in your life, that you've been unwilling to confront or do anything about because it's it's going to be uncomfortable? And you want to have a breakthrough. You want to get on the other side of it. You're like, I know. And we'll say that. That's one of our favorite, excuses and bullshit phrases. It's like, yeah, I know. I know I need to do something about it. I know. And we don't know shit. Well, all you know is you're stuck and you're lying. Because you're unwilling to confront. You're unwilling to go into the darkness because you know it's going to be uncomfortable and painful. And so what do? You settle. You settle. And you've been settling. Originally, you're just going to settle for a week. Next week I'm going to do something. Next month I'm going to do something. And you settle, and now you start settling for years. And now your life becomes settling. All the chaos that I have brought into my life. In the last 20 months, I have made more dramatic changes in my personal life, all 7 domains. My body, 20 months ago, I weighed 189 pounds. Today, I weigh 163 pounds. And that's healthy. That's a healthy 163 pounds. Not perfect, but it's definitely healthy. It's a good way. It's not like I'm like falling apart. This is like I have intentionally changed my life and I've changed the shape of my body. But I didn't want to do it for years because it was uncomfortable. Had to make some major changes. Made changes in my business, made changes in my marriage, I made changes in my relationship with God. This, guys, for the last over decade, since I started being a real estate coach, and even before then, I never talked about God. Ever since my affair, when I got a divorce, left my family and all, I never talked about God anymore. I'm like, who am I to talk about God? Who am I to be a light to God? I'm a mess. I'm like a freaking train wreck. I'm the prodigal son. And I'm going to talk about God? No. I'm going to try to be a good person, and I'm going to try to make you like me, and I'm going to try to just be the light. I'm not going to talk about God. And last year, in part of my prayer time, as I'm journaling and talking to God, he says, I want you to declare my name. That's what he told me. I want you to declare my name. Like, what does that mean? I want you to talk about me. I want you to talk about your relationship with me. I want you to talk about your journey with me. Go public. Tell people. Tell people that you're following God. Tell people you're a Christian. Tell them. Tell them. God, is that popular anymore? Who gives a fuck if it's popular or not? We're in a world where people, the insanity that is going on right now in our world, my friends, the world is gone freaking insane. It's gone insane. I've got 5 grandsons from ages 9 down to an infant. And I'm like, I think I need to start having a conversation with them of, look at you. You are such a special boy. God made you to be a man. God made you to be a king. God made you for greatness. God made you to do something great in this world. And he made you the way he wanted you. You are going to be a great man. You're going to be a great husband. You're going to be a great father. You're going to be a great leader. God made you a prince. And I'm sitting here in my head and I'm going like, you mean I actually have to be trying to convince my grandsons that God made them to be a boy, that they weren't a fucked up mistake? Because I know that they're going to be exposed in a world that's telling them, you may not be a boy, you may actually be a girl. Are you kidding me? So, my friends, you got to wake up. You got to wait. And there's people going to see this, they're going to be offended. They're going to be like, oh, you don't even know what you're talking about. Well, in any other time in history, I would have known exactly what I'm talking about. But today, we live in a world that is so screwed up, you can't even tell if you're a boy or a girl or a man or a woman. We can't even tell the difference. This is not new. This has been a journey, a process of making men bad for over half a century. So it's been happening. You should be nice. Stop being a fucking man. And try to make men like women. And it's like, you need to be more feminine. You need to get in touch with your feminine side. And I was like, you don't even have a masculine side. Maybe you're not even a man. Maybe you're supposed to be a woman. And there's this confusion in our world. And I'm like, your kids are like so freaking confused right now. Well, my friend, you better wake up, because here's the problem. That confusion is possible because you're confused. Or you're unwilling to tell the truth. You're unwilling to, because you're worried about what other people are going to think. So we go back to this whole conversation we've been having. And it's going to show up in all parts of your life, and it's going to impact all parts of your life, and it spreads out. It's going to affect our whole culture. And if somebody's not willing to stand up and go like, okay, can we call stupid stupid? Yeah, but you may get blocked for that. I'll find another place to talk. I'm not going to bow the knee to stupid. Some of you, most of us, I've bowed the knee to stupid. Bowed the knee to stupid in my own life, bowed the knee to stupid in the culture, bowed the knee to stupid people because I didn't want to upset them, I didn't want to offend them. It's like, I love you. Wake the fuck up. And you've got to be willing. Guys, here's the deal. I do a training called Breakthrough Experience, and we help people have breakthroughs. But here's what I've discovered. A breakthrough, for you to have a breakthrough, requires a willingness to break. It requires a willingness to break something. And if you're not willing to break mediocrity, if you're not willing to break what's okay in order to have something great and willing to put everything on the line, you're going to be stuck with mediocrity. You're going to be stuck with unhappiness. You're going to be stuck with a life of shame and regret and fear and guilt. Or you confront all that. And you're going to break some shit. You know the worst thing about breaking a world record? When an athlete breaks a world record, he made somebody else not the best anymore. He made somebody else second. She made somebody else not the best. Yeah. You got to break somebody else's record to win. You want to break through? You got to be willing to break some shit. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be fun. But my friend, this is your life. It is the only life you will ever get. This life is your championship season. How about you decide to go all in and win it? So that's it. Okay, so I'm going to ask for some feedback here. There's 107 of you on. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up here, but I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. If I do this live, if I do a live podcast every week, I'm going to be talking about, over the next few weeks, I'm going to be talking about things like I'm going to be talking about life in the tunnel. I feel like in my life, it's a tunnel. We call it sometimes a midlife crisis. I think I'm through my midlife crisis. I think I'm beyond that. It's a later in life crisis, like it's a third quarter crisis or something. I don't know what it is. But I'm going to talk about the tunnel and what it's like when you feel stuck in a dark place. I'm going to talk about why I'm getting my third divorce. I'm going to talk about the dating game because I'm dating now. I'm going to talk about business transition. I'm going to talk about struggle financially. I'm going to talk about it all. I'm going to talk about why I'm living in the mountains. I'm going to talk about my relationship with my grandsons. I didn't meet my grandsons. I have 5 grandsons. One of them was born in December, but the other 4, the youngest one is now 4. I did not meet them until my dad's funeral 2 years ago. Never even met my grandsons. So if that gives you a clue of how alienated I was from my family and my daughters. I have 3 girls, 3 daughters. And next month, they're all coming to the mountains, and we're going to spend a week together in the mountains with my daughters, their husbands, and my grandsons. And we've rebuilt the relationship. But it was nearly a quarter of a century. It was over 20 years of bullshit. Because I was not willing to face my pain. I was not willing to face the truth. I was not willing to face them. I was not willing to face the rejection of what if they won't talk to me. Just saying, they'll be fine. Their mom doesn't want them to talk to me, so I'm not going to fight it. And the pain of that, the damage of that will probably be showing up for years. And now I'm working to fix that, to heal that. I'm going to talk about all that. I'm going to talk about all the stuff in my life. My life is on fire, but I'm going to stop waiting to go public and say, you know what, I think I have a message to deliver to the world. Some of you have something inside of you needs to come out, and you need to just have the courage to step up and go, step up and go, step up and go. People need you. The world is waiting for your message. The world is waiting for your light. But you're afraid people are going to judge your light. You're afraid your light's not bright enough. You're afraid they're going to see your darkness and say your light's bullshit. How about this? Just be true. Just follow your path and don't give a shit what other people think or say, because they're not worried about you. They're so busy worried about their own shit. They're not even going to notice. But what they will see is your fire, and they will see the fruit on your tree, and they will follow that. And in that will become the greatest liberation of your life. So I'm here to help set you free. So here's what I'm going to ask. If I do this live every week, when do you want me to do it? When would be the best time for you? So I'm thinking about, I could do it on Monday mornings, I could do it on Tuesday mornings, Wednesday mornings, Thursday mornings. Probably Wednesdays are the hardest ones for me on my schedule. I could do them on Friday mornings. I can do them, I could do them where they're not even done live. And I may do that, haven't decided. But what would be best for you? How would you like for this to be delivered? Because we're going to take this will be on YouTube, but we're going to also download this, turn this into a video. It'll go up on iTunes and Spotify or wherever all the podcast stuff goes. My team's taking care of all that. And I'm going to be putting out there, where do you like to see it? So yeah, type in the comments what you like. I've got Fridays at 7 a.m., okay, Mondays. So just put in, thank you for that. If you're watching this as a replay, thank you for watching till the bitter end. I love it. Just want to know what that is. And I also want to know, what's the pain? What do you want me to hear? What do you want to talk about? What's going on in your world? What's going on in the world? What's going on in the markets, in the real estate, in the economy? If you want to talk about marriage, you want to talk about parenting, whatever you want to talk about. I'm going to tell the truth, okay? And a whole lot of the things that I know have been learned through very dark places and great pain. Okay, what I promised to never bring you is bullshit. What I promise to bring you is the truth. So thank you, my friends, for joining me. It's been great to have this time with you and to give you hopefully a gift and a blessing today. Now, be the light. Stop worrying about what other people think about your light or your darkness, and just go be the light that you were called to be. Have a great weekend. 3, 2, 1. Off we go.